republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back. It is a Wednesday morning, and I am back with the Welcome to Guns series, episode 9. And today we are going to be discussing the crazy world of optics. So what are optics? So when you go and purchase a gun, right, a standard gun back in the day, you didn't have optics you had to worry about. What you had was you had a front sight and a rear sight. You had what they call iron sights or open sights. That's all you had, right? Then they started getting fancy and they started getting the lasers. Well, that's not really a sight. That's kind of an aiming device. But then we got, which I don't even know how long ago it was. I can't even say for sure. But they came out with optics. And you'll see that you can buy guns with iron sights or you can buy things with optics. Optics are also, known as a red dot or a green dot. And optics are good. And optics, what it does is it has a little dot in there. It does not shoot out a laser for the world to see or anyone else to see. It has a little screen on the top of the gun, on the slide of the gun. You've all seen them. And you use it and just it to aim at the target. So with iron sights, you are lining up your eyes with the rear sight, with the front sight, with the target. Keeping those aligned, equal height, equal light, lining those up properly. And with a optic, you're not using the iron sights. You are solely using this dot that appears in the screen. You're aligning it like you would a scope to a certain extent, dialing it left and right, up and down, get everything good to go. And then you just place that dot where you want the bullet to impact, and you are good to go. Now, one of the things I kind of disagree with is I believe every gun should come cut for an optic, ready to accept an optic, right? You'll see guns that are cut for an optic and they have like a plate there so you can still use the iron sights, but you don't have to put an optic on it unless you absolutely want to. I believe all firearms should come cut for an optic. But I don't believe that every firearm should come with an optic already on it. I really don't like that, because what happens is people fail. New shooters sometimes tend to fail. They fail to use or failed to learn one of the fundamentals, and that's being able to use iron sights. All of a sudden, they got this new whiz-bang red dot, green dot optic on their gun, and they don't bother to learn how to use the sights. And in so much that they get this optic, they buy a gun with an optic already on it, and they don't realize they need to go out and they need to align it, they need to adjust it, they need to dial this thing in. I feel like an optic, to a certain extent, empowers people. It empowers people to take long shots that they wouldn't normally take, especially new shooters with little guns. And that's always been a concern of mine. And it still is a concern of mine to this day. Now, I've come a long ways in my thinking and the way I think about optics. I love optics. As you get older, there's a few reasons why I like optics. As you get older and your eyes get a little wore out, optics are going to be more thing for you. It's easier to aim when people have vision problems and whatnot, right? It is you're focused at the target and you're just placing a dot in between you and the target. That's essentially all you're doing. You're not trying to level up 3 different planes of existence to take the shot, which that can be harder for older eyes. Now, everyone needs to learn irons. I can't say that enough. You have to learn the irons. But if you are a good shooter and you can use iron sights good, are really good at it, you're a good shooter, you can use them well, you know them inside and out, fantastic. Now, if you put an optic on your gun, it's going to make you about 30% faster. Like, it really will. Optics are really fast. Red dots, green dots are really fast. Now, it's not just slap one on, dial it in, and be good to go. There is a learning curve to using an optic. You have to learn how to pick up the dot every single time. From the draw, from the drive out, whatever it is. If you drive the gun out and you got to move the gun to make that little dot appear, you're doing it wrong. You have to be able to learn how to acquire that dot immediately. And that's all with the proper grip, the proper stance, holding the gun correctly, muscle memory. And it takes time and it takes practice and other simple drills that you can use to help you learn how to do that, which we can talk about that later. But that's what the world of optics is all about. They are beneficial. I've had older people in class that really struggle. They're farsighted in one eye, nearsighted in the other. They have monovision, whatever that is. I'm not to that point yet. And they struggle, and they do absolutely everything right. They have good trigger press, good grip, good everything, and they just cannot hit the center bullseye of the target. They cannot do it. They cannot do it. I give them a gun with an optic on it, and all of a sudden they're just stacking shots. Like it'd be the first time they've hit the bullseye in their entire life. They're just stacking shots, right? Like it's old hat. Like there's like zero problems with it. That is what an optic is good for. That's really what an optic is beneficial to people that have different eye problems. Now, if you're a competitive shooter, optics are, like I said, optics are fast. It's going to make you acquire those plates. Boom, 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 and it can be used for. I think where it shines is more defensive type shooting, combat style shooting, where you are shooting for center mass or you're shooting plates. Now, it can be very accurate. It's a small dot depending on the MOA that you get when you look at your optics. It could be a pretty fine dot, like a 2 MOA, 3 MOA, whatever. It's a pretty fine dot. And you can use it to stack shots right in the center of the bullseye. But it's really made for quick shooting fast, defensive type shooting, competition style shooting. And just so you know that if that is where you're going, I do advise, I do recommend, once you learn the irons, if you're going to go out and buy a gun right now, buy a gun that is cut for an optic. Not that has an optic on it. Buy a gun that's cut for an optic. So you can get the gun, you can learn the fundamentals, you can learn the iron sights, you can get proficient with that firearm, right? So that you can graduate up to putting or deciding if you want to, or putting on optic on your gun. You have that choice. It is made for it. 2 screws, pull it off, some Loctite, a few more screws, you're good to go. Like you're set. That's so you want, when you buy the gun, right, you want to give yourself options because you will want to graduate to a dot in the future. I guarantee it. Now, if there's people out there, I'll never have a dot, I don't need a dot, then you haven't shot with a dot before. And honestly, that was me for a long time. I will admit it. I've started shooting with the optics, and I don't look back. If I buy a gun, and typically I try to buy them so I can put an optic on there, it'll get an optic. Like it's almost a package deal. Buy the gun, buy the optic. And with optics, you get what you pay for. Spend a little bit, I've seen some really inexpensive optics go for a long time. I mean, they really do. But my standard for optics is going to be Holosun. I like Holosun really, really well. They got a fantastic warranty. I'm looking across my war room right now at my cupboards. I can open that cupboard door and there's like 8 Holosun boxes in there. I have dots on everything, and I just love Holosun optics. Now, there's more expensive optics. I want to say Holosun isn't the most expensive. It's not the cheapest. It's probably middle of the road, and they've done really, really, really well for me. If you like to spend a lot of money and you want to go with other optics for more, by all means, you do you. I like Holosun. They haven't really let me down. Like I said, I've had to warranty one item, and they're usually quick about it. No questions asked. They take care of business. So that's where I am with optics. So, yeah, optics, that is an option. Make sure your gun comes cut so you have that option in the future. But don't forget to learn the fundamentals. So, okay, I am out of here. I have got other stuff to do today. So I will talk to you guys later. I'll be back in a week. See ya. Bye.